kind of a system that I put together for foam, that I feel that I started talking about it last year, at HauntCon, and then at Transworld last year. I feel that if my system is followed, you could really save a lot of money and time by using foam. Um, so say if you have artists come in and they're working, you really want the best artist that you can pay for to create the best work. And you feel a lot of people think, the airbrush is really fast. Let's do airbrush makeups. But you put an artist behind an airbrush, and they're going to want to do the best work they can. They don't really care about the time. If nobody says anything, all right, you got to move on. They're going to keep putting more and more time into that makeup because they want to look the best they can. It's one of those things where you just have to kind of let the ego go. Same way with if you're not spending a lot of money on a bottle of latex and some tissue to create this zombie, but what you're doing is you're spending a lot of time with paying an artist, or if it's yourself doing it, all that time that it takes to put the latex and everything on, and then paint it, and then add blood and everything, and get people out. You're spending money. You're spending money in that time. I have a system with foam that if you say an average day in a haunt is 22 days, you have one character. This is your character right here, and he's going to be out there for the 22 days. Pre-season, bring in a really good artist, somebody that you can pay really well to do really good work. Take 22 pieces of this foam, lay it all out, have that artist paint it, every piece exactly the same, just one color after another. Get it all done pre-season, and then you can bring anybody, a novice, somebody who's just wanting to get into it, somebody you don't have to pay a lot, somebody you might get for free, somebody who just wants to learn. Bring that person in for every night to apply these things. Because then you just have anybody just stick this down on the face with a little bit of glue, go around the edges and around the eyes with the paint that is laid out, the same colors that was used by the artist in the pre-season of painting these things. And if you do that, these things can be applied within 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you put it on, you got a character just like this. It's all done, all painted up, ready to roll.
That tip there is worth the price of admission to the whole Hauntmaster realm, because I've never heard anybody say that before. Let's pre-paint all of our appliances and then have somebody that we're not paying $50 an hour to do this.
Exactly. And then, like I said, you can bring in some amazing artists for what, 1-2 days? Even if you had 10 different characters, what is it going to take you? 3 days pre-season, 4 days? An artist's going to come in, they're going to paint one, and they're going to go off of a paint by numbers, and every one of them's going to look exactly the same. And then you can bring in anybody, and I think it's a good position for younger aspiring artists that want to get into this to start them off by just letting them glue these down and paint around the edges. And they get a feel for it. And then maybe the next season or the season after that, they'll be the artist that gets to actually do all the painting. Because it really does. It only takes 5 minutes to glue these things down. It takes longer to take it off than it does to glue it down.
Now, one of the things that I've seen in the industry too is a little bit more of a maybe an assembly line, instead of your highly paid artist that's doing the artwork with the airbrush or with paints, applying the prosthetic. There's person A applies the prosthetic, and then all of those people go stand in line for the makeup artists. Yeah. Is that something that makes sense?
Oh, no, it does make sense, and it's being done. It's been done for a while. It's kind of like that's the way. If you're running the makeup room, you should run it how you want. If that works for you, if you have the time, you have the resources, the money to do that, so be it. It's up to you. I just like to bring to the table a new way of doing it, a different way, a more efficient way to save money and time. you're saving time, you're saving money, you're saving material. Every time you open a bottle of airbrush liquid, you know, it doesn't matter who it comes from. When that bottle sits on the shelf open while you're doing makeup every night with that thing, it's evaporating. You're losing material. If you know the price of a 2 ounce or a 4 ounce bottle of airbrush liquid, you'll understand. You know, you're up in the $28 range. If it's all pre-painted in the beginning, then you don't have that problem. It's all done in a couple of days. The bottles get closed up, they go back on the shelf. Then you have a small palette that's made with the base color or whatever the tones are to go around the outside edges, and those can be put into individual little packages.